In the modern digital age of the video game industry, where the main focus is online multiplayer, DRM, loot boxes, and all of that, there seems to be a group of gamers that have been left behind, that have been forgotten. And of course, I'm talking about gamers that live in rural areas that do not have access to high-speed internet. They're not able to download their games. They're not able to play online multiplayer even. They're not able to do so many things that you would think everyone could do, but there are a lot of gamers in rural settings that can't do any or all of those things. So, I wanted to make this video dedicated to those kind of people because, really, they need more awareness. More awareness needs to be spread about this issue of gamers that live in areas that do not get to experience gaming in the modern digital age. And why gaming has kind of abandoned these people by focusing so much on online multiplayer, on DRM, on loot boxes, pretty much always online internet connection. That seems to be what the focus is in the gaming industry right now. And to really exemplify this point, Bethesda Game Studios, who has always been like the last bastion of the old days where single player was the main focus of the video game industry, Bethesda seemed to be like the last remnant of that time period. Their new game, Fallout 76, will require an internet connection, will require, you need to have decent internet to be able to play on a server with how many players are in a server. I don't remember how many, but quite a bit. And the people who have traditionally been playing Fallout games, they have played the Elder Scrolls, they have enjoyed all Bethesda's games, are now being left out. But gamers that live in rural areas where cable internet, fiber internet is not even an option, they are used to developers and publishers leaving them behind and not caring about them. So that is really why I'm making this video. There's so many petty things that people talk about in the video game community forums and discussions. They talk about silly things such as which piece of plastic is better than the other, such as, this person said this on a game server, he said the N-word, he did this, he did that. It's pretty much the video game community as it stands right now. It's just about gossip and pretty much not talking about important things. Let's just say that. And I think this is a very important thing. And it really, if you think about it, transcends gaming, but since this is a gaming-focused channel, I want to focus on the gaming aspect of this, because the video game industry is the most popular, is the most profitable form of entertainment as it stands. It's more profitable than the movie industry, more profitable than TV, more profitable than even the music industry. The video game industry is very profitable. It's grown into such a huge cultural phenomena that being left out of it, can leave you behind in a lot of ways. And I definitely think that more people should be aware of this, because a lot of people are suffering right now. A lot of people, gaming used to be their favorite hobby. Now, no one cares about them. No one even thinks they exist. It's just not even on anyone's mind that isn't affected by it. And I guess the question that would be asked is, well, why should I care? I have internet. I'm able to experience all this. And some, witty people might say, well, They're probably better off because the gaming industry right now sucks. Because, games, that's actually the downfall of the gaming industry, that so many games are being focused on the loot boxes, on the DRM, on all that. You notice a huge decline in the quality of AAA games released today compared to 10 years ago. And I will, that is a point that I definitely would agree with. However, the one thing that I would also say is, well, if you live in a rural area and do not have access to high-speed internet, your life pretty much sucks already. I mean, let's face it. If you want to try to get stuff done, if you're a student, you try to get work done. If even reading an email might be a very difficult endeavor. Almost everything right now, you need an internet connection to do. Applying for a job, doing all that stuff. You need an internet connection to be able to do that. So, your life already sucks. The one thing you could do to get your mind away from it would be sitting down on your ass with a controller in your hand. All the worries are gone. You're in your own little world. Except you don't have access to that world anymore because even traditionally single-player focused games from back in the day that really defined single-player, like Fallout, Grand Theft Auto, and other games, are now being so focused on online multiplayer that you can't even experience the games that you grew up with or that you enjoyed in the past. That's the reason why GTA 6 hasn't come out yet, because they're making so much damn money from GTA Online. And that doesn't just affect rural Americans, but I'm saying it affects rural Americans especially. And of course, it's not just about American gamers. There are people who live in Canada. Canada's a big country. 90% of Canadians live in the South, near the border. But there are also other Canadians that are spread out across the country, and, they're definitely being left behind as well. Mexico also. If you live in the northern parts of Mexico, especially Mexico City, you have pretty good internet connection, you're pretty connected to the modern world, and, you're not suffering as much as the farmers in the South who have nothing. So, this doesn't just apply to America. There are plenty of other countries that have a huge wealth and income disparity between one another, and a lot of that has to do with the way that the current digital economy is set up. If you do not have a reliable internet connection, you are pretty much set to fail. That's pretty much how it is these days. And if you really think about how the huge difference between Americans that live in urban areas, and I'm using America as an example because obviously it's the country I'm most familiar with, but I'm sure this is a universal trend. People who live in big cities, in urban areas, they have more technology at their disposal. They are more connected to the digital economy. And they are able to, they are not being left behind like the rural Americans are, because they don't have reliable internet connection. A lot of people who live out here like I do, the best thing they got is satellite internet. Satellite internet is basically almost like having no internet because it's useless. It's useless garbage. But the FCC, anyone who's into tech knows how shitty the FCC is. They think if you have at least 25 megabits per second, you have broadband internet and you have high-speed internet access. Well, let me tell you something. HughesNet offers 25 megabit per second speeds. Meanwhile, here's what they do. Oh yeah, you get your 25 megabits per second as long as it's sunny outside, as long as you do not use your monthly allotted data, and after you use your monthly data, it's pretty much slowed down to dial-up speeds. And you're saying that these people have high-speed internet. This is all I have to say to Ajit Pai and the FCC. But it's just kind of ludicrous to me that we live, like, last year, okay? Last year. This is, you know, more into the politics part of 8-bit politics. But last year, the national budget hit $1.2 trillion. And what was that money used for? Well, the majority of that money, $700 billion of the $1.2 trillion, was used for defense. $700 billion is a lot of money. You think if we need $700 billion for the military, that we'd be, you know, that World War III would be happening. But we actually live in one of the most peaceful times in the world. I know there are a lot of places that have armed conflict. You know, there's Syria, there are other countries, but why? We are America. Why do we need to get involved in these wars? Why? We can afford bomb money. We can afford to bomb innocent civilians in the Middle East, but we can't afford to hook up internet to people who are suffering, who are being left behind. Screw those people. Actually helping Americans, that's silly. No, we need to bomb people. That's our priority. And that's pretty much what Congress is telling you. That's pretty much what the president is telling you. You know, I think the president signed a few executive orders making it easier for people in rural areas to have access to high-speed internet, but he really didn't do much. And this is coming from someone who's not really a part of the resistance, but I'm just calling it how it is. From a technological aspect, from the aspect of someone who is into technology. The Trump administration, and the entire government for that matter, has failed. Has really failed. Let's just say that. Especially since one of the big things with Trump's campaign had to do with infrastructure. Well, the people who need good infrastructure are being left behind. And America, as in general, is being left behind, is being beaten by other smaller, developing countries that actually have faster internet, that actually have better quality of life in certain aspects. And that's something, it's just completely absurd to think about it. But this is the political, this is politics right now. Not giving a damn about the people, caring more about these stupid wars that we have no business in being in. And millions of Americans are being left behind because of government's indifference towards them. And of course, I'm talking about something that just transcends gaming, but it's a big issue, and not enough people care about it. Because it doesn't affect them, obviously. But I think more people should care. So, let me know what you guys think about what I said. If you live in a rural area, or if you live in an area with very, you know, not very reliable internet speeds, leave a comment on this video. What are your experiences? Not just in terms of gaming, obviously, because this is a gaming-focused channel, but just as someone who lives in the digital economy, who is part of the digital economy, who has to, you know, do so many things online, but struggle. It's a huge struggle to even get basic tasks that, you know, that don't even seem like a big deal to most people in this country, like opening up an email, like watching a video for school, or anything like that. You know, what's your life experience? I think I might make a video in the future as a follow-up talking about my experience. But I want to focus on, you know, people overall suffering because, let's just face it, you know, you can blame the government, but also, you know, in order for the government to actually do something, enough people have to care. And not enough people care. So the burden can't just be placed on the government. It's also the fact that so many people are just indifferent because it doesn't affect them. They might, they say ridiculous things like, well, why do you live in a rural area? Move to the city. Just saying things that don't really help them, show that they don't really care. It's just, something needs to change, and it requires efforts for politically, socially, and economically. Those three factors, in order for there to be actual change. So, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.